మిత్రులారా బంధువులారా వనక్కము స్వాగతము వెల్కమ్ టు సౌత్ ఏషియా మ్యాప్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఛానల్. దిస్ ఈజ్ యువర్ ప్రజెంటర్ డాక్టర్ జె రెడ్డి, జె తిరుపతి రెడ్డి. మిత్రునా, వీఆర్ continuing our fascinating rice grains on chessboard, or wheat grains on chessboard, almost the same. Enigma, riddle, and intuitiveness, lack of intuitiveness. This series, this is part 9. The title of today's discussion is how many rice grains you can fit in 532 million tons of weightage. There are two aspects here. You have to have a clarity. We are talking about the weightage, the weight of the rice grains, the global harvest of 2024 world harvest, and we are talking about the number of rice grains. That means 2024, the world harvested 532, you can say 530, round it up, million tons of the rice grain. How many rice grains it holds means 27 trillion rice grains. And why are we talking about? What is this? Just numbers. So there is a lot of things involved here. Understanding the dilemma, lack of intuitiveness, the concept of the exponential growth compounding that generally we don't grasp. That is the entire point. And I have taken the time and effort to go over it step by step. If you spend the time and go over this video, the things will be very, very intuitive for you. So the title of the topic is how many rice grains 2024 global harvest of 532 million tons weightage contains is 27 trillion grains. Trillion T is 12, 12 zeros. That means 27, again 3 zeros, again 12 zeros means 27, 15 zeros. That is 27 quadrillion grains. Sorry, quadrillion grains. That is the Peta grains. 15 here, 15 zeros. మిత్రులారా, ప్రపంచంలో 2024 సంవత్సరంలో 532 మిలియన్ టన్స్ ఆఫ్ వరి ధాన్యాన్ని పండించారు. ఆ వరి ధాన్యంలో ఎన్ని వరి గింజలు ఉంటాయి, దాని ఇంప్లికేషన్స్ ఏమిటి? చెస్ బోర్డ్ లో పెట్టుకుంటూ పోతే 1 square 1 grain and double it to 2, again double it to 4, double it to 8, like that. ఎక్కడ మనం స్టాప్ అవుతామంటే somewhere between 54 square and 55 square. All the global harvest you made, you'll be ending there. Still there are 64 squares, means somewhere like 10 or so. How you navigate it, what is the complexity, is this issue so serious అనే సమస్యపై స్పష్టంగా మీ మిత్రుడు జె తిరుపతి రెడ్డి ఇందులో వివరణ చెబుతాడు, విశ్లేషణ చెబుతాడు. And this rice grain on chessboard series is here, and I am showing we are talking about part 9. How many rice grains 532 million tons weightage contains means 27 trillion grains. Trillion is 12, and again 3 zeros, 15 zeros. That means 27 peta grains. Peta, you just pretend feta, that is 15 zeros grains. And the remaining similar presentations I'll be posting soon. These are the remaining presentations you can look for. On the rice grain chessboard Enigma, the issue. All these presentations, Mitrulara, I have posted at South Asia Maps J. Reddy, 2024 February. It contains 750 videos on varied diverse topics of Indology, Bharat Mata related studies, and human ecology and human demography, agriculture, and so on. In 75 or so playlists, you can find them there and pick and choose the playlist of your choice. Before that, you have to have a little clarity. I have explained this in the series before. What is a million? What is a billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion? We don't worry about sextillion. So the million is 6 zeros, that is the million is mega. Then the billion is 9 zeros, giga. Remember, big billion, 9 giga. Trillion is 12 zeros. You can very easily remember. Trillion, tera. T and T here, M and M here. These are the standard dictionary terms, words. This is the metric standards. Quadrillion, R is Peta. That is, if you remember, F, 15 zeros. Quintillion is 18 zeros exact. T is here, means much bigger. R is smaller, less, 15 and 18. And that aspect, in India, we have the concept of the lakh and crore. Lakh is 1 zero less than a million. Crore is 1 zero more than a million. So this you have to have a concept, and so that you can follow this series clearly. Mitrala, before that in the part 8, I have talked about how many, because we are talking about in this current concept around about 532 million tons harvested globally, and you have to have million tons entire thing. That is the standard harvest of the grains are told, like million tons of rice or wheat or corn, so on. 1 million ton has a 50 trillion grains. How we come to this conclusion, I explored further. I will not go over here because the current topic itself is a very big topic. Before that, here I have googled that. It says a single grain of rice weight between 12 to 22 milligrams. The weight of the rice grain with the husk. Husk means the shell around it. It contains a little more, 20 to 25% more. So I have taken a subjective value of 20 milligrams so that the calculations are very easy. You can make 25 also. So the statistics won't change that much. That means 20 milligrams per rice grain. You have to keep that in mind. So I will go over this little more detail so that these things are very intuitive. Once you get the concept how we came to this, the remaining things will be very easy for you to follow and intellectually enjoy also. A grain weight is 20 milligrams, a single rice grain here. I have put this again in many places. 1 kilogram contains 50,000 grains. Ton means 1,000 kilograms, so 50 million grains. And million ton means 60 trillion grains. Million is trillion. 6 plus 6, 12 zeros. So this you have to keep in mind. I will not go over again. So we have started with our basic premise. 1 million ton of rice harvest. There are two things here, weightage and number of grains. You have to have a clarity on that. 1 million ton of rice weightage is 50 trillion grains. You have to keep that in mind. That is the premise. Trillion means T is 12. There will be 12 zeros here. That means instead of 1, you add one more, 10 million tons. That means the 50, you make it 500 trillion grains. If you make 100 million tons, so instead of 50, because 50 here, 100, 2 more zeros. That means here 1 zero, here's 4 zeros. 100 million tons will contain 5 followed by 3 zeros. These are all trillion grains. This weight is 100 million tons, contains 5,000 trillion grains. Remember, trillion is 12. You already have 3 zeros. 12 zeros, 3 zeros is 15 zeros. That is Peta, 15 zeros. That is the Peta. 5 petagrains in number. That is the quadrillion. So this is just, you don't need to worry about this. We doubled it, 5 make 10, 5 peta become 10 peta, and 250 make 12.5 peta. Important thing is 100 million ton contains 5 peta, 500 million tons just make it 5 times 25 peta. So this should be very clear to you. We will stop here, that's sufficient, but because the harvest is 532 million tons, it is little more than 25. That is the, instead of 25, it is a 27 peta grains, quadrillion grains. That means 27 followed by 3 zeros followed by trillion means 12 zeros, 27 followed by 15 zeros. You may think I am repeating this again so that if you didn't look at the previous, so I want the audience should not get lost some numbers I am throwing. So that is the reason. So what happens is if you harvest 2024 globally, that rice, and you can put it, if you start taking the rice chessboard and take 1 grain, then make it 2 grains, put it in the, then 4 grains, next like that, you will come to a square 54 that contains, remember, 1 2 3 4 5, this is the peta, 9 peta grains here on that square. So far the entire chessboard including 54 contains 18 peta grains. That is the 18 followed by peta means 15 zeros. In the next square, remember, whatever you have, almost the same. One grain difference. So, on the, excuse me for my allergies, 54th square, you will put 18 peta grains. That means the chessboard, including to 55th square, will have 36 petagrams. What number we have here? That is 27 petagrams. Somewhere between 54 and 55, you have to stop. That is the global harvest. Remember, we are still, let's say, even assume you are in 55 square, then 6, 57, 58. There are 64 squares on the chessboard. How many years you have to harvest that? That is round about 568 years more you have to harvest to fill the entire chessboard. How we come to that conclusion, we will see in the next video. So this is very, very critical. That means generally humans lack intuitiveness to comprehend compounding. That is, human intuitiveness is very poor to grasp the implications of this concept, that is compounding, exponential growth, that is the something growing at a constant rate. So we generally, if you ask the simple question, suppose you take a 1 grain here, put it, double it 2 grains, again double it 4 grains. How many grains you should cover, have to go here? Is it like 1 bag of rice? That is in the village, our village 70 kilograms is considered a bag. Some places maybe 100 kilograms or so. 1 bag is enough, or 2 bags, 3 bags? No. Even if you make the global harvest, you will stop somewhere here, 54th to 55. In order to move and cover the entire chessboard, you have 675 years. I think previously I made it 578. So this is the actual number. That is 678 years more global harvest. That means yearly harvest is 530 million or so. You have to harvest like that 678 years to fill the entire chessboard. You can understand the complexity. Excuse me for my allergies. That's what we are talking today. Why I have made this into 3 series or 4 series in this subtopic is 1 million ton here, 532 million tons here, 360,000 million tons here. There is a reason. 1 million ton means, if you have a concept of 1 million ton, that is the global harvest of yearly, a country called Taiwan that harvested 1.1 million tons grain, rice grain in 2024, rounded up to 1 million tons. That is a 50 trillion grains. Taiwan means T, so trillion grains. This is the global harvest, 532 million tons. So we are now understanding where we can stop putting in the rice chessboard. Why this number? That is the global harvest you need to fill the entire chessboard. So these aspects are very, very, you should have a clarity to understand the complexity of doubling each time and each a square on the rice board. Taiwan harvested 1 million tons weightage of the rice grain that contains 50 trillion rice grain. That means you have to have, that is around about 45 to 46 square will stop. Then around about 55 square or so will stop the global harvest. And if you want to fill the entire chessboard, you have to have this many years of Taiwan harvest. And if you want to fill the global harvest, this many years Taiwan harvest. You can understand, if you start harvesting the grains like a Taiwan, you have to have a 360,000 years. You have to make a harvest to fill the entire chessboard, and start imagining the complexity of that. We'll look at some of the numbers here. So remember, I first looked at it and made the calculations. Here in the Wikipedia says the global harvest of the rice 2022 roundabout, this is the millions, right? 60777 or 776. I made all the calculations. Later I found that is a mistake or typo, and verified other lot of sources and came to the conclusion and redrawn the calculations. This is the correct one. So in 2025, United States Department of Agriculture has posted these global rice harvest, that is 532. Remember, MT means not million. This is a metric ton. Metric means metric system. So you should not get confused with the million and metric. So 3 zeros here, 3 zeros means that is 532 or 530 million tons, million metric tons, to be very clear. Global harvest. Among these 532, China harvested 145 and Bharat harvested 145. You make 150, 150 means 300. Out of 500, 532, 300 is harvested. In these two countries itself, we talk about it later. That's very important. So the point is, this Wikipedia statistics are not correct. In case you look this and do the calculations and you may get lost, I want to make this point very clear to you. So in the rice grain, what is the rice grain? The grain. I think we calculated the weight of the grain. That around the grain you have bran, around the grain you have the husk. So if they take the husk, the weight is more. Again, the point is we are not interested to get into that detail. I am trying to get the complexity of intuitiveness, lack of intuitiveness of the placing the rice grains on the chessboard. This is where I got that statistic. Rice grain weighs around about 25 milligrams. We made it 20 milligrams. I think this is without the husk. Husk will have maybe 20% more. So that's again not the point. And so what are we talking here? This is the place you can go. This is the squares. Say, we told that in round about, there is around about 50 trillion grains. You see, this is 6, again 6. 1 million ton contains 50 trillion grains. This is the trillion. That means 35 and 70 here. You can place somewhere between the 45 and 46 squares. Again, remember, this square at this place contains 17. That is the trillion grains. The chessboard, including this, so far contains 35. So just you are doubling. So I want to make sure this you get a clarity what we are talking about. Somewhere that is the Taiwan harvest. That means, let's say you stopped between 45 square and 46 square and the entire chessboard. You place the grains harvested in Taiwan. And what is the global harvest? That means you have to move ahead. Remember, the global harvest is the Peta, 27 Peta. So this is the somewhere here, the 18 Peta here. So Peta means Peta or Feta, you just misspell it. That is the 15 times 15 zeros. Somewhere you stop here, 50 4 to 55. That means you have to collect the harvest from the Taiwan round about 532 years continuously just to move ahead next 9, 8 or 9, 10 squares. That is the complexity we are having. So what did we talk about? Today we talked about rice grain weightage, rice grain number. If you take 1 million ton weightage, million metric ton, there will be 50 trillion grains. T is trillion, that is 12, that Taiwan. Because Taiwan harvested 1.1 million tons, that is 1 million tons. Entire planet Earth harvested 2024 round about 532 million tons. That means you have to harvest 532. Taiwan's can fill that place. That is 27 peta. 27 misspell it feta, that is 15 zeros in front of it. Trillion has 12 zeros. Peta, that is quadrillion, has a 15 zeros. That means that will stop somewhere between 55, 56 square. Still you have around about 10 square to go. That means what is the complexity? That means you have to again harvest around about 670 years more of the global rice harvest of 2025 to fill the entire chessboard. That means even if you take only the Taiwan, you have to harvest 363 years. Taiwan harvest to cover the entire chessboard. That is the complex. The complexity, the problem is humans' intuitiveness is very poor to grasp the implication of the concept of the exponential growth or compounding. Remember the standard story, the Raja dealing with a person, a great scholar came and challenged the king into the chess game, and his request of the scholar was very modest. And if the scholar wins, he has given a chessboard and start putting the rice grains, double it on each square. You put 1 grain, again 2 grains, 4 grains, 8 grains, and 126 grains. And king thought, Raja thought, this is a very simple problem. No, that is not simple. That is the point we are trying to discuss today. Hope this particular part makes the things very clear. And the next part we'll talk about the part 10. This is the same thing. Yeah. The 64th square entire chessboard. How many trillions of the grains it has? What is the weightage? The weightage is 360,000 million tons. These are the number of the grains. 18 quintillion or 18 hexagrams. Remember the here standard we talked always million, gillion, mega, giga, and tera, peta, and hexa. That is the one we'll discuss about in the next presentations. Thank you very much, Mitronam, joining me today. This is your presenter, Dr. J. Reddy at South Asia Maps. See you later. If you like this comment, if the presentation, you can post your comments or suggestions or even share it to your friends. See you later.